And I said, come over, come over, come on over, you'll say.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Town of Portland podcast. We are here on, as we're deeming it, Water Wednesday. Okay, with us in the studio is our first selectman, Mr. Ryan Curley. Hi, Ryan. How you doing?
I'm good, Dave. I just want to remind you today is a Monday, but...
Wednesday. I don't know. You said Water Wednesday. My bad. Okay. It is Monday. Okay.
Today is Monday. This is what happens when you retire.
See?
You don't even know what day it is.
Every day ends in Y.
So, yes, today is Monday, August, what is it, the 5th today?
August 5th, yes.
And so I think that's a great segue into what we will be talking about in a moment, which is our meeting on water, which is on Wednesday, the 7th. And we have actually two meetings in regards to the town's water plan this week. And so I'll just jump right in. I want to talk about that because I think that one is the one I want to get the word out because that one... As much as I try to get the word out about it, which we've done, there's been a River East article, and I know I've spoken about this a lot in the past, but I want to make sure that the town is aware of what we are doing in order to get water independence for the town of Portland.
And the benefits, absolutely.
Exactly. So we've been working on this for quite some time, as you know.
Yes, we have.
And last year, a year ago, the town, working with our engineers at GZA, drilled 2 test wells just north of our Portland Recreational Complex. And the deeper of those test wells was really a home run for the town. The water quality was excellent, and the output is estimated to produce around anywhere between 1 to 2 million gallons of clean drinking water a day.
Wow.
Which is incredible, since the town typically uses less than $1 million gallons a day.
Yeah.
And I think at our peak, we need about 1.1 in...
1.1.2, because the average daily demand, I think that we've been averaging for the last few years is, about between 600 and 700,000.
So currently, for the past almost 30 years, the town's been purchasing about 2/3 of its water, give or take, from the MDC. And the other third of our water we get from our own independent town well, which has been very, very useful for the town.
Absolutely.
And so what we're looking to do, and now that contract with MDC is set to expire at the end of 2025, is we're looking to supplement that water purchase from MDC with this new water source that we're trying to find in Portland.
Sure.
So in order to do that, in order to hit these timeline windows, we have to drill a full 12-inch production well this year, and we have to do it soon. And in order to do that and the necessary permitting for that well as its permitting and the pump testing that we have to do. Those are the 3 biggies that we have to do this year. And in order to do that, we would need to do a contract extension with GZA, which we did get that approved by DPH, who is on board with all of this, I want to add. They've been very helpful, and we're very grateful for the support at the state level for this, because they've seen the water output, they've seen the water quality results, and everybody agrees that this could be a really great thing for the town for the next 50 years,
for sure,
and more. So in order to do that, the town needs to fund $1,192,000 in order to do this contract extension and fund this next phase of the project. That includes the well and the pump testing and the permitting that I mentioned. We're going 330 feet down to drill this well, and that is pretty deep as far as wells in New England go.
Sure.
And so there is a cost to that, and that's why we need to do this. But I want to mention that there's savings from this in the long run. Should we be successful, that what we'd be able to do is, instead of paying the MDC every year, and right now we pay over $800,000 for water to purchase from MDC. Instead of doing that, we could take a loan out for the next phase, the plant the treatment plant, and we could pay that off in a low interest loan over 20 years or so. And the water users would pay that off. But that loan interest may be $300,000 a year or less.
Yes.
Whereas We're paying over $800 right now to MDC.
Yep.
So if we do this, we could have savings of over $500,000 a year,
Absolutely.
which will add up very quickly. So while it is a big expense, it's almost $1.2 million that myself and the Board of Selectmen are asking the town to support. We believe that the cost savings exist in this to make it a worthwhile business investment
For sure.
in the long run. So that is the question that is coming on Wednesday. There is a 6:15 public hearing that's going to be at the Portland Middle School auditorium. That is at 93 High Street. And after that, there's a 9:35 special town meeting, and anyone who is an elector in town or owns property in town can attend and vote at that special town meeting. And I'm really hoping that we get a good turnout, Dave. And this is why I'm trying to talk about this so much.
Sure.
Is because I want the residents of Portland to know what we've been working on for so long, but we're also ultimately here to do what the town wants as well. And so I really want to get that support, because should we be successful at the special town meeting, we then would be looking to do a referendum question for the ballot in this November. And that would be to fund, which is what I was talking about before, about $5 million that would be used to fund the treatment plant and also connecting that well into our existing water system. So we would need to do that as well in order to get this new system online. And
Sure.
so we need the support from the town in order to do this. So,
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's a no-brainer. We've been working towards this goal again, and especially since the results of that well came back so phenomenally good. It's a no-brainer. And my understanding from GCA and Rich Soroja that 2 million gallon, 1.5 million to 2 million gallons that we could get out of that well does not affect our Glastonbury well. They're in a separate vein. So there's another 500,000 there that we are basically have potential of too.
Correct. We've also even talked about our existing well on Glastonbury Turnpike. We could actually go down deeper there and most likely get a much higher output at that well.
Sure.
But they are separate. You are correct.
Yep. And that well is only 60 feet or 65 feet.
Yeah, exactly.
And so forth. So, that's great. That's good news.
It's great news. So we're super excited about this, and I hope for a successful referendum result both on Wednesday and then in November as well. So stay tuned. But that is a big component of that. And I do want to mention that we're going to fund the 1.2 million with a $500 banknote or loan that will be paid back from the water and sewer, our water customers.
500,000.
$500,000.
Okay, not $500.
Oh no, $500,000, $499,000 will be paid back by our water users.
Yep.
And then the remainder, which is a $780,000 difference, that would be funded from unassigned fund balance from the town. Excuse me. With the understanding that this is also an economic development endeavor, and it's also in the best interest of the town.
Oh, absolutely. And, with that savings, we're going to be able to improve and replace some of our old aging infrastructure, which we've been, unfortunately, because of our, commitments to MDC, we've been unable to do.
And we're doing that right now, actually.
Yes, we
on
are.
Dogwood, which is pretty cool. It's our first water main replacement in a long time.
And by our own people, too.
In-house.
So that's great. So that's phenomenal.
So we'll get to that in a little bit. But that's the first big topic that I wanted to talk about.
Nice.
And then the second big topic that I know is on a lot of people's minds again is, I'm sure you've heard that Brainerd Place is back in the news. It seems to always be in the news lately in Portland. And so this time, what happened, if you remember back in March through May, is that the developer had requested 2 changes for the site.
Yep.
He wanted to be able to add more apartments to that
Yep.
in that mixed use development district. And I believe the request was for 110 apartments in total, but it was going to be 108 additional apartments in town.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of opposition to that. And I think, the residents in town brought up some valid concerns about unknowns. What would that do to your traffic, particularly during rush hour, as well as what are the unanticipated unknowns about extra children in the school system?
Yep.
Whenever you add apartments, that possibility does exist.
Yeah.
And so the Planning and Zoning Commission did not approve that request. And so since that time, the developer of Brainerd Place and his team has worked to try to come up with something that would work, that would get approved
Yeah.
in town. And so they did request through Planning and Zoning back in July to add a new use to the mixed unit development, the MUD district.
Yeah.
And that is for assisted living. And they did get approved by that. Planning and Zoning did approve the assisted living in a MUD district. And I do want to point out that assisted living was already approved in the zone that Brainerd Place is in.
Sure.
They just added it to the MUD district as well, which is something that they voted on unanimously in support of. And, I think so. The new proposal that the developer has is really, it's the same layout that he was looking for with the additional apartments.
Yeah.
And that's good because I think it keeps the rooftop restaurant that
Yes.
I heard nothing,
But
basically everybody liked the idea of a rooftop restaurant, and everyone liked that retail space on the corner, which is 32,000 square feet of premium commercial space
Yep.
right on the corner of Main Street and Route 66.
Yep.
And so this plan does keep both of those components in place, as well as the additional commercial space in the historic buildings and in Building E and Building F. And so what you get with this new assisted living component is, I want to go through this because, so the request is still for 240 apartment units. Out of that 240 now, there's 17 of those units that will be age restricted to
Yeah.
55 and over,
Okay.
which I think is a good thing for our aging population
Sure,
as
absolutely.
well. So there'll be options for older folks to strictly older folks to rent those apartments. But the big thing is that assisted living, or what they call independent living units. And the plan is for, let me just see here, there's going to be 116,000 square feet of independent living. And with that, there's going to be, that means that independent living units will be occupied by at least one person aged 55 or older who meet the requirements of the Housing for Older Persons Act. And with that, there's independent living health-related services will be provided on-site, and an on-site healthcare tenant. Faculty will also offer dining services, housekeeping, social activities, and several on-site amenities dedicated to independent living residents. So I think there's going to be a lot more on that on Thursday, and there's the public hearing from Planning and Zoning will be at 6:00 p.m. at the Portland Middle School auditorium again this Thursday. And that's really, that's the big change, is adding this independent living. So no more additional apartments, but they would have housing for those in need over 55 with this independent living quarters as well. And what this does is it does address the two biggest factors, I think, that people were against in the last proposal. And that was the potential for additional traffic during rush hour. And also the potential for school-aged children in the school system.
Sure.
So with this independent living, both of those really go away with this new plan. And so really, I think, given the changes that we've encountered in the market since this plan was initially conceived in 2017 and approved in 2018, in a post-COVID world and where we're at,
things have changed.
This will get the project to the finish line, and with that, I think it's a good thing for the town, because I think as soon as this project is over, we can focus on something else and move on.
Well, I think it's a good compromise. I think definitely, and like you say, it's been going on for a while. I mean, I think this is the second or third developer that has, basically started this project way back when.
And you're still going to have the historic homes are
Sure.
going to be cleaned up. And I just want to point out, though, with this, so there will still be over 73,000 square feet of commercial space in the project of new commercial space.
Yep.
There will be, with the independent living quarters, which does count as commercial space,
Yep.
over 116,000 square feet of commercial space. And there's also a hospitality component of this as well. They have a small boutique hotel that they want to add in one of the buildings, which would be another 5,900 square feet of commercial space. So all in all, this new plan brings in about 195,000 square feet of commercial to town.
Yeah.
And that was one of the complaints before, was that people had said, well, the developer doesn't want commercial, he just wants housing. Well, not only are we getting tons of commercial, but we're actually getting about double than what we thought we were going to get.
Nice.
So I think it's you're never going to make everybody happy,
Nope.
on a plan, but I think this does get us to that finish line that we need.
Plus, it makes everything walkable to downtown.
Which is great,
You
which
know.
is great, because we have a couple grants that I want to get to in a little bit about that walkability,
Sure.
too. But before we do, I want to just talk about the Job's Pond project,
Okay.
because that's another big thing that I've been talking about, and for those who follow the podcasts or the town news, that's been going on since late March, early April, and the flooding situation at Job's Pond has displaced eight families, 8 homes are uninhabitable out there right now. The water level has been as high as 15 feet above normal, maybe even a little higher. It's come down a couple feet in the past month or so, but it's still maybe 12 feet higher than it should be. And we did receive both federal and state grant funds to do a project where we would pump out the excess water in the pond, and we would discharge that water into the Connecticut River. And that's what we've been working on for a long time. And this is a big project. It is no easy feat to do this,
Right.
and to construct a pipeline network and have it run almost a mile away into the Connecticut River. There were a lot of approvals. There were a lot of plans. There was a lot of design work that we had to get through. And our friends at NRCS, which is the Natural Resources Conservation Service, worked with the town, and they came up with these plans. And then the town, we took that and we went out. We did a quick RFP,
Yeah.
and we shot that over to the contractors that NRCS had identified as being able to complete a job like this.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm pleased to report that Portland's own Snyder Civil Engineering
yeah.
firm was the low bidder on the project. And so I think I know the company well. It's a great company, and
Yes.
we're thrilled that they are able to step in here and do the work and get this water lowered for the residents who've been through a lot. I mean, their homes have been flooded now for months, and we got to get this water down because they're going to have a lot of cleanup to do.
Oh, for sure.
And there's a lot of furnaces that they're going to need to be replaced, especially by the time it starts to get cooler with the fall coming. And so we got to get this pump going. And there are dates, so just to there's a lead time on some of this equipment. So what I'm hearing is that around 8/17, August 17th is when all the equipment will be here, and they hope to have things pumping around August, like the week of the 25th, 26th.
Okay.
There, so it's we're a couple weeks out still, but it is moving ahead, and we're really excited about that. So
Nice.
I'll talk about that probably next time as well.
There we go.
Great. So the other projects we have going on right now is we have a road construction project that's going to be underway very soon. I know High Street's been a big topic of discussion.
The rumble strip?
We have some rumble strips, so we're already, once that is paved, we're going to pave from where the high school is all the way down to Route 66.
Nice.
So that's going to be milled and paved, and we're excited about that. We just replaced all the storm drains
Yep.
on High Street for, in anticipation of that project. And we also have paving projects on Dogwood, where we're, as we mentioned, currently replacing that water line.
Yep.
And Spring Street, where we had a water leak.
Main break.
We had a main break last year, so we got to replace part of Spring Street, unfortunately. And then part of Freestone
Yep.
that wasn't able to be done last year.
Yeah,
We're
from
gonna-
across the high street.
From cross to high. and Perry Avenue. And as a bonus, I'm pleased to say that we are also going to be able to pave William Street as well, from the corner of Main Street all the way up to Clearview Drive. And that's another particularly poor section of road there.
Yep.
So this is, I think I was talking with one of our public works guys who said this is probably one of the biggest road reconstruction project that they've ever seen in 40 years. So we're really excited about that. Hats off to Ryan Halpin, who has been instrumental on all of these projects, making all of these projects happen and work, as well as Tom Robinson as well.
Commander Numbers.
Commander Numbers. So I mentioned also for work going on in town, we have our sidewalk project that's nearing completion.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks great. That is a steep grant that we had applied for, I think, 2 years ago, and we're going to get down almost to Gildersleeve School, or just to Gildersleeve School.
Yeah.
And then the town received, we had some good news a couple weeks ago where we received a connectivity grant for $612,000 to continue the sidewalk work on Main Street, and that's going to allow us to replace all of the sidewalks on Main Street. So that's a long-term plan. It was started under Susan Bransfield.
Sure.
And we've kept going with that, and it's going to be great to get that going.
Sure.
And we might even be able to do a little bit more with those funds as well, so stay tuned. And the town also received a $200,000 bar grant from DECD, which is a Brownfield Area Remediation Grant. And that's a planning grant, and that is going to be used to develop a new master plan for our riverfront area and our downtown. And we're, with all this activity that we have going on, we have this Nordic Spa that is set to break ground very soon on their project on Brownstone Avenue.
Okay.
We have the Brainerd Place development. We have our own riverfront park. We have the Discovery Exploration Park. We have Concentric Brewery. You know, we have all these things going on. And so this bar grant is going to allow us to develop a master plan. And we're going to be able to tie all that together.
Put all the puzzle pieces together.
Yeah, it was great. So we attracted a little bit of attention last week. We had the Lieutenant Governor Bicewicz came to Portland to do a press conference to announce both of those grants that we had received. So I guess it's a good sign we're doing well when we can bring in some of the big state politicians to come and recognize the town of Portland's efforts. And we're definitely grateful for the state and their support in these projects.
For sure.
And let's see, what else do I have? I think that might be, those are the big projects, unless I'm missing something. We have a regular Board of Selectmen meeting this Wednesday.
Yep.
We have certainly the school project is coming up again. Plan for adding and putting a large addition to Valley View School and closing both Gildersleeve and Brownstone. That is going to be on the ballot in November, and now we'll be working to put that extra question on water on the ballot too. So this presidential election, I know there's some big choices at the top of the ticket, but there's going to be some really big questions for the town as well, and that's why we try to do this in a presidential year.
Well, you're going to have better turnout
when you get that turnout, because ultimately we're here to do to go where the town wants us to go.
Absolutely.
But we are very, very busy. Here.
Charles is going to be coming in a little while. He's going to focus a lot of those efforts on his part of things. So we're going to talk about that in his podcast.
Absolutely.
So and we also had very, very successful Riverfront concert series.
We have one tomorrow night. Tomorrow night at 6:30.
Yeah.
And they've been great. We've had 2 so far. One had been rained out. And I don't know. This week is a little rough weather-wise.
Sketchy, I know.
I do want to make a couple notes about the project with the Job's Pond project. While the work is underway, we do have to close the Airline Trail in Portland.
Yes.
And the parking lot off of Middle Haddam Road will be closed. That's going to be a staging area for the project.
Yeah.
And we also have to close the intersection of the trail at Breezy Corners. We're closing closing breezy corners. So while the pipes are in, underway, because it was either dig under the road or put a bridge. It just was too expensive. So I just, we're going to have to close the road. And also, I do want to point out that there is going to be some nighttime construction regarding the Brainerd Place project, and that's coming in August as well, sometime soon. So with all the work that they've had going on, they're widening the road on Main Street, and they're going to repave Main Street and the corner of 66. And with all the businesses that are on Main Street, the decision was made to do the work at nighttime rather than during the day, because it would impact, it's not going to be too long. It's only going to be for, I think, 4 nights. And otherwise, if we did it during the day, it would be over 2 weeks, and it would really cause some chaos with traffic. So look for that. That'll be coming soon as well.
Any word on when they're going to be activating the new traffic light?
So they had initially told us that the traffic lights were going to be activated almost right away. However, it was this road work that the state changed their mind, is what they told us, and they said, you got to get this construction done first. So as soon as they do the road paving and all that, that's when they'll activate the lights.
And next question is, when is Starbucks going to be opening?
So I did hear that there might be able to be the first tenants moving into Building E as early as September now, they're thinking. And Starbucks, I think, is the fall as well. I think October is when I'm hearing for Starbucks.
Oh, good.
And I know there's a lot of people that are excited about that. When I went down with Ryan O'Halpin a couple of weeks ago to talk with one of the contractors at Mizzy, and I got to tell you, walking around the site, I think seeing the work that's underway, I know the Hart Jarvis House has a brand new roof on it right now that they just put up, and these historic homes are really coming a long way, and it's really great to see they're being brought back from the dead, and this is going to be a feature of Portland when you come into town for a long time, and we're very excited to see this. I know I get a lot of comments when people talk, come from out of town, especially I think the Lieutenant Governor commented, what a difference, Portland looks.
Well, those houses are a part of Portland's history, so the fact that they're restoring them and giving them new life and so forth bodes well.
Exactly. Yeah. No, they're doing a good job, and we're happy to save that piece of history there.
For sure. Excellent. Well, great, Ryan. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
No
it's
worries.
Always great to be here. I know we're busy. I hope to do another one next month, and we'll keep going. We got a lot to do between now and Election Day in November to get all this ready for the water and all that.
Absolutely. All right, fantastic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that kind of wraps up this episode of the Town of Portland podcast with our first selectman, Mr. Ryan Curley. So until next time, stay tuned and look at all that's happening in this great town of Portland. It's happening. It's coming together fast, and we hope everybody appreciates all that we're doing here. So until next time, that is all. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Dave Kuzminski. Please tune in every week for new and relevant conversations about the town of Portland. You can find us at portlandct.org or at YouTube/Town of Portland, and now wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you've enjoyed our podcast, please consider subscribing and sharing with friends. This podcast was produced by the Town Tech Educational Partnership Program, which is a partnership between Portland High School and the Portland Town Hall. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or organization, check out towntech.org/podcast to learn more.